Blessings, beautiful beings. Thank you so much for joining me today for this spring, I guess, equinox type of practice. I have Sam here. Fritz is over there. He's not wanting to come in here for some reason, but that's okay. We will practice without him. So for props today, if you want to grab the regular, some blocks, a blanket, or a bolster, or just whatever you have that you feel like you'll need for practice, we are going to do some flow and a little bit of activity, so it won't be as slow as some of the other ones. And if you don't have any props, that's okay. Don't let that determine if you practice or not today. So, all right, to start, we're going to sit in a comfortable cross-legged seat. If you have any knee issues at all, bring a towel or a blanket or just whatever you have, and you can come and sit on it. And that is going to prop up your hips a little bit, so that way it's a little bit nicer on your knees. So we're going to start out in just a comfortable cross-legged seat, just centering ourselves, getting ourselves ready for practice. Go ahead and just breathe. Just let it out. Whatever's happened in the day this far, just let it go. Your palms can be facing up or down. Whatever, again, feels comfortable for you. And then if you'd like, you can close your eyes or soften your gaze. My last week was pretty hectic. Lots of things going on, so it's really important to still take this time to center and to ground yourself and to really just give yourself some self-care. Not get lost in all the crap. If you are coming from maybe off of a stressful day or a week, then go ahead and while you're centering yourself, soften the tongue or just loosen the tongue in your mouth. Unclench your jaw. Let your shoulders just melt down your back. And if there's any place that you are gripping or feel tight in, just start to allow that to relax and to let go. I know sometimes it's easier said than done. Continue to deepen your inhales and exhale. And as you exhale, if you are coming off of a stressful week or day, just imagine that you are exhaling that all out, just getting it out of your body, out of your system. Just a little bit longer. Sometimes I like to, before I start, to set an intention for my practice. And it could be anything. It doesn't have to be anything real specific, just are you wanting to relax? Are you wanting to maybe loosen up the body? We are going to move some energy around today, so we're going into a new season. Let's get rid of all that old gunk that we don't need anymore. That way we can make room for the new you that is coming. When you're ready, we'll take one more big inhale together. And then exhale just out through the nose or mouth, yogi's choice. I personally like to do exhale out through my mouth just so I can sigh it out and let it go out. If your eyes are closed, you can go ahead and open them, or if you have not already, and you can just return your gaze to the room around you. All right, so we're going to transition to tabletop. I have lost all my dogs, which is not necessarily a bad thing. So we're going to go ahead and go to all fours here. If you do have sensitive knees, I recommend a blanket, depending on what surface you're practicing on. If you're practicing on a hardwood floor and you have this mat is pretty cushy, so I don't necessarily need the blanket. But if you are working on hardwood floors like I am and your mat isn't very cushy, it can sometimes be nice to have like a blanket or a towel underneath your knees. But if not, that's cool too. Again, yogi's choice. I am gonna get rid of my blanket because I don't necessarily need it today. I had to bust out my green mat since it's the spring practice, so I got my green blocks, green room, green plants, windows open, sun is shining. Spring is, probably summer is my favorite, but spring is close second or third. Let me know in the comments what your favorite season is. I just like it because there's more sunshine, it's light out, my translucent legs can get some sun. Alright. I'll quit talking now. Well, I won't quit talking, but I'll quit talking about. We'll get back to yoga. Alright, so in your tabletop position, knees under your hip points, so if you need to make any adjustments, do. Hands underneath shoulders, so back nice and long, looking forward. And we are going to warm up our spine with one of my favorites, so I'm moving my hair around so you can see my face, and that is cat-cow. If you know it, you can drop into it. Otherwise, on an inhale, we're going to lower our bottom ribs, so we're going to lower our bottom ribs towards the mat, lift your tail, lift your head and chest up, coming into a cow pose. So you can imagine a cow with its udders. Dropping our udders down. On the exhale, round through that spine, tuck your tail, tuck your head. We're coming into a cat pose. So in this instance, you can imagine like a black Halloween cat. Or just any cat, I guess, just hissing. Inhale, dropping those lower ribs, lifting the chest, lifting the tail, looking forward. Exhale, rounding through the spine, dropping the head, dropping the tail. Go ahead and do a few more just on your own inhales and exhales, and if one feels better to you, or if you find a place in here where it feels good to kind of stay for a few breaths. You don't have to go at the same pace I am. This is your practice. I am just offering guidance, but do what feels right in your body, and that's for not just this pose, but any pose. And I'll try and offer variations where they're available. And most everything has a variation that you can do, so. All right, let's do one more together. So a big inhale, coming into our cow pose. Exhale, rounding the spine, coming into cat. And then we're going to return back to our tabletop position. Now from here, I'm going to walk up on my mat a little bit so I have some more room behind me. So next we're going to start with what's called a bird dog. So again, we're going to keep on warming up through the body. We're going to bring some length. Let me kind of move my blocks out of the way here. So when you're ready, let's go ahead and tuck. I'm going to do my right side first. I'm going to tuck the toes under my right side, and I'm just going to rock back and forth. I'm getting a little movement in my calf and in my leg, just stretching that out. And when you're ready, bring that to stillness. Now for some, this is going to be enough. And if this is where you're at, if this is where you're at today, stay here. Otherwise, if you want to go to the next level, you'll just lift your leg up. Keep your toes pointed down towards the floor. So you don't want to be, well, it doesn't really go out that way, but you don't want to like turn your toes out towards the wall. You want your toes dialed down. So imagine you are pointing your pinky toe down on the floor, and that will help with that internal rotation. So this is kind of level 2. If you would like a little more, you can lift your left arm forward and reach. Thumb facing up towards the ceiling, pinky towards the floor, and then bring your head to a nice neutral position and breathe. Take one more big inhale here, and exhale, go ahead and let that go. Whew. We'll take just a breath here, kind of compare both sides, see how they're feeling. Now, we're going to do the same thing on the other side, so you still have all of those options available to you. Again, listen to your body, choose whichever version feels most right to you today, and it can vary from day to day. It may not stay the same. All right, let's go ahead and stretch our left leg out, toes tucked under. Just kind of rock back and forth. We're going to warm up through that calf a little bit. Feel a nice stretch. When you're ready, bring that to stillness. And then if you would like, you can lift that leg up and then extend your right arm forward, coming into that bird dog position. And breathe. Take one more big inhale here. And exhale, let it all go. Woo! All right. I'm going to walk back just a little bit. So back in this tabletop position, your hands should be, again, directly underneath your shoulder. We're going to walk our hands just one handprint in front of where they were. So they won't be directly under your shoulder. They're coming forward just a little bit. And then go ahead and tuck your toes under. Take a nice big inhale in. And then on the exhale, go ahead and lift the knees and start to straighten through the legs while you push up through your hands. And you're going to come up and back and down through your legs. So we're coming into our first downward facing dog. Do not worry if your heels do not hit the ground. Mine do not either. I'm pretty flexible and my heels don't hit the ground at all. They can, but I don't know if you noticed. So for my heels to hit the ground, I have to, you see how my back is rounding? You don't want that. That's not good on your back. Instead, you want length. So now, when I'm actually in the position, you can see I have more length through my back. And that's what you want to see more of. So you want to focus more on the sensation than actually trying to hit the actual shape. So if, again, my heels don't hit the ground, that's okay. I feel good where I'm at. I'm nice and stable. I don't have weight dumping one way or the other. So this is where I want to be. Keep breathing while you're here. Just let your head hang. You can shake it. And then when you're ready, we're gonna lift our right leg up, coming into a three-legged dog. Keep your toes still pointed down so it doesn't have to come up, you know, to the ceiling or anything like that. Just keep your toes pointed down. And on the exhale, bend through the knee, shift forward, look forward, and we're gonna step our right leg in between our hands, and then go ahead and lower onto your back knee. You can keep your toes tucked or untucked, either way is fine. And then just look forward. So we're just coming into this nice low lunge. If you have blocks, you can use blocks here to bring the floor up to you, just for some added height. It can be on that high level, the medium level. You can be on your fingertips, whatever feels right to you. When you're in this lunge position, you do want to make sure that your knee is at a nice 90-degree angle, and you should be able to see your big toe. If you can't see your big toe, make sure that you are pressing your knee out towards your pinky toe. And then make sure you keep length through your spine and your chest nice and lifted. And breathe. You should be feeling a nice stretch in your left quad. Take one more big inhale here. And then on the exhale, go ahead and just slide that right foot back, coming back into that tabletop position. So just warming up a little bit before we actually get into any big flows. All right, from here, if your hands moved at all, make sure that they are just that one handprint in front of where they would be if you were in tabletop. We're gonna tuck our toes under, take a nice big inhale here. And then on the exhale, let's lift our hips up and shift everything back. And make sure you're still breathing. Now, if you'd like, you can walk your dog by bending one knee and then straightening the other. Just kind of going back and forth, warming up those legs a little more. And then you can also just bring that to stillness when you're done with that. On your next inhale, let's go ahead and lift our left leg up, three-legged dog. And then on the exhale, let's bend that knee, shift forward, look forward. We're going to step our left foot in between our hands and lower our right knee onto the mat. Again, your toes can be tucked or untucked. I like to untuck mine because I feel a little bit more stable. Again, this front leg should be at a 90-degree angle. You're looking forward, chest nice and tall, breathing. We'll take one more big inhale here. And then on the exhale, let's take that leg back to meet our other one. Our left leg back to meet our right. All right, so we're going to do the same thing again. I know we're going about this a little different than I normally do, but that's okay. Change is good. We're changing seasons, so we're changing up the routine just a little bit. All right. Place your hands back into that down dog position. The other thing that can also help in down dog that I didn't call out before is when you go to press into down dog, if you press into your thumb, your pointer finger, and your social finger, I'm not going to flip off the camera, then that can help to take pressure off your wrist. So if you're feeling any wrist pain, press into those three fingers on both hands, and that will help to alleviate some of that. All right, so make sure your hands are positioned. We'll tuck our toes under, take a nice big inhale here to prepare. And then exhale, let's peel our hips up, back, and down, coming back into that down dog for just a few breaths. On your next inhale, go ahead and look forward at your hands. And we're going to make our way up to the top of the mat. So you can hop, step, jump, float. baby step like I'm doing, we're going to come up to the top of our mat. So we're coming into a forward fold. Now when you're here, make sure you're not locking out on your knees. I'm able to hyperextend my knees so I can lock them out. It's not good on my knees, so I'm not going to do that. I'm going to keep a little bit of a bend in my knees. Now, this might still be a little bit much. Your knees may not be warmed up yet. So this is another good place where you can use blocks, or if you have books or just anything that can bring the ground up to you, you can use those as a prop to help keep that length. If you don't have a prop or anything to kind of bring the ground up to you, you can bend your knees as generously as you need to. So don't try and force your knees to be straight if they don't want to be in that position just yet. My hamstrings always get super tight, and it takes a lot of work to get them to even want to get to this point. All right, on your next inhale, we're going to come up halfway. Keep a nice flat back. And you can put your hands on your thighs or your shins or just wherever feels right to you. Keep your neck in line with your spine. So I know I'm looking at the camera, but you will want to look down. You can look at me briefly if you just need any clarification, but otherwise keep your neck in line with your spine. And then on your next exhale, go ahead and let it all go. Forward fold and breathe. Just letting your head hang. One more big inhale here. And on your next exhale, let's go ahead and slowly roll all the way up to standing. I probably rolled a little bit fast. Adjust your clothes if you need to. My clothes are always going all over the place, so. All right, and we're gonna come stand at the top of our mat. I'm gonna turn to face the long edge, but I'm just doing this so you can see me. Stay on the short edge if you're able to. So we're gonna come into a mountain pose to start. So we're gonna get really grounded. It can help if you are feeling a disconnect from your body to really lift your foot and then place it on the ground and really feel it on the ground. If you have cats, or you know somebody with cats, or you like cats, maybe you don't like cats, but I don't know, you probably have seen them do this where they, knead, like their bed, like Chai Cat likes to knead her bed, like she gets in there and she really kneads it. Yeah. You can do the same thing, or Chai Cat also likes to knead my belly, which I don't enjoy because she does have claws and it hurts. But when she's trying to get comfortable, kind of like when dogs like circle when they're getting their bed. So imagine that you're a cat, and really when you lift your foot and place it on the ground, spread your toes and then really feel the toes in the ground. Really feel them all individually hitting the ground. Just do that a few times, and then when you're ready, bring that to stillness. Loop your shoulders up, back, and down. Really lift up through the chest, hands at your side, just nice and relaxed. Keep your head and neck with your spine. Your head and neck in line with your spine, your head. I cannot talk today. So what you're wanting to have is kind of a nice straight line from your feet to your ankle, to your knee, to your hip, to your shoulder, to your head. So one straight line, strong like a mountain. And just breathe. This is a really good grounding pose, so if you are having a lot of anxiety or there's a lot of things going on, going outside and doing just this posture is super beneficial. All right, take one more inhale here. Exhale, sigh it out, let it go. All right. On our next inhale, let's go ahead and reach our arms up towards the sky. And then on an exhale, we'll float our arms down, shift our hips back. We're going to come back into that forward fold. So inhale, come up halfway, flat back. Exhale, let it all go. And just breathe. All right. Let's get ready to move a little bit. So on our next inhale, go ahead and step your right foot back. Bring your knee down to the ground. Do untuck your toes this time if you didn't the first time. And then from here, instead of coming into our low lunge, actually come up. You're going to pull up through your core. So you're going to push up through your core and then reach your arms up to the sky, coming into a crescent lunge. And breathe. So keep your chest nice and lifted. Just breathing. One more inhale here. And then on the exhale, go ahead and come forward. Place your hands on the mat. And then this time, we're going to shift our hips back. Pull your toes up, or just curl your toes up, and have your toes facing towards your forehead. So you're going to feel a nice stretch in your hamstring here. And just breathe. Now inhale again. And then on the exhale, let's walk it forward. Go ahead and tuck your right toes under, lift your knee, and then pay attention here. We're going to take our left hand, we're going to walk it over towards the inside of our left leg, and then pivot on that right foot, and we're going to walk our hands towards the middle of our mat. Hello. I'm sorry, my butt is in everybody's face here. But we're going to turn towards the back edge of our mat and come into this wide leg forward fold. So make sure your toes are pointing forward. And then just hang out here. Now, if you can't reach the floor, this is another good place where you can use blocks to bring the floor up to you. Don't come all the way down. Otherwise, if you're able to get your hands on the floor, work to start getting your hands back towards the inside of your shins. If you do handstand or any arm balancing poses, this kind of helps to prepare you for it. So if you're able to, you can also bring your forearms down to the mat. I am not feeling that today, so I'm not going to do that. So I'm just going to hang here and breathe for a moment. And then when you're ready, go ahead and take your right foot, turn your toes out towards the short edge of your mat, pivot on your left foot, and make any adjustments you need to. And we're going to come to drop the left leg down, untucking the toes, and we're going to come into a crescent pose, or a half crescent pose on our right side. So now you're facing the back edge of the short end of your mat. Kind of fun? All right, wherever you're at, make sure your right leg is in that nice 90-degree angle. And then we'll lift our arms up to the sky, breathing. I'm going to look outside for just a moment. Chest nice and lifted, long puppy belly here. One more big inhale. Exhale, go ahead and lower your hands down to the mat. Now when you're ready, we're going to shift our hips back, peel those toes up towards your forehead, and feel a nice hamstring stretch here. And breathe. Again, if your hands don't quite reach on the mat, you again can use blocks to bring that floor up to you here. One more big inhale here. And exhale, go ahead and roll back forward, coming back into that lunge. have to go back the way we came. So let's tuck our left toes under, lift that left knee up. We're going to take our right arm, bring that around to the inside of that right foot, and then pivot on your back foot, pivot on your front foot, walk our hands towards the center, and we're back in our wide-legged forward fold with my booty in everybody's faces. YouTube will probably pick this as a thumbnail. I don't know if I'll change it or not, we'll see. Just breathe. I feel like an Oompa Loompa on camera with this. I don't know why I'm Oompa Loompa, but fun times. Alright, when you've had enough of that, we're going to go ahead and take our left toes, turn them towards the front edge of your mat. We're going to walk our hands over to the front, pivot on that back foot, make any adjustments you need. And then we're actually going to take our left foot back to meet our right foot. We're going to come into our first plank of the day. So if you need to lower your knees, you can and come into like a half plank. Just make sure you're not dipping through your hips and coming into like a weird up dog. And then also make sure you're not like coming into this tabletop position. So you want to have, you still want to feel that in your core. Otherwise, if you're up in full plank, really push back through the heels. Again, make sure your hips aren't dipping down or coming up. So you should have a nice flat back or a nice straight line as much as you can. We'll be here for this is our only plank, so just a couple breaths. One more big inhale here. And then on the exhale, let's all lower down to our belly and get off our wrists for just a moment. Whew! So hopefully that wasn't too terrible. I'll clear up here. My mat is not cooperating today. This is why I don't use this one. Alright, so make sure your hands are underneath your shoulders here, kind of in line with your rib cage. And on your next inhale, just peel your nose up. We're going to come into a nice baby cobra to start. And breathe here, looking forward. If you'd like a little bit more, you can press into your hands, come into a full cobra. But if you feel any crunchiness in the back of in your lower back or in your back at all, lower down a little bit. You don't have to come all the way up. Make sure your ears aren't creeping up into make sure your shoulders aren't creeping up into your ears. Your ears aren't going anywhere, hopefully. Words are hard today for me, apparently. One more big inhale here. Exhale, let's let it all go rolling back down. Woo. All right, we are going to get off of our hands and our wrists here. So we're going to do some fun stuff here. So let's move to that. Okay, when you're ready, tuck your toes under. Now there's a couple different ways you can do this. We are all going to meet in a downward facing dog. So let me give you a couple of options. Option number one is you can push yourself into a tabletop position and then come into your down dog. Option number two, which I'll do with you and then we'll all meet together in down dog, is go ahead and tuck your toes under from this cobra. Take a nice big inhale here. And then on the exhale, power through and come back up to your plank. Take an inhale here. And then exhale, shift your hips up, back, and down, coming into plank or down dog. So however you choose to get here, go ahead and meet me here. We'll take just a couple breaths. And then we'll get off our wrists. All right, on your next inhale, let's go ahead and look forward, and we're going to once again make our way up to the top of the mat. So however you choose to get there. I like to take little baby steps. Some people like to jump. I don't like to jump. I just like the little baby steps to get here. All right, so we're back into kind of our forward fold. Take an inhale here, and then on an exhale, roll all the way up. We're going to come into our mountain pose for just a few breaths. If you'd like, go ahead and turn to the long edge of your mat. Just to get started. So there was a reason we did all of this grounding pre-work and warmed up our bodies really nice and well. So we're going to move into some balancing postures. Don't let that scare you. We're going to have fun with it. Balancing is really good, again, if you're feeling really anxious or you just have a lot going on and you want to focus. These balancing postures are really good to do just that. I like to shake it all out. All right, so we're going to start, before we get into our main balancing pose, start by we're going to shift our weight into our left side first. But don't dump your weight. Don't Beyonce booty it out. None of this. No. Instead, when you shift your weight, you're just going to shift. Keep that lift up through your body. And then from here, maybe just lift, keep your toe on the ground. If you'd like a little more, you can lift the knee up. And then it helps if you're balancing to find a focal point on the floor that's not moving, ideally. So this is a one-legged Tadasana, one-legged mountain pose. Your hands can be on your hips, or you can have them heart center, or however you'd like to do this. Woo. I'm looking at myself on camera, so now I'm getting all off. Take one more big inhale here, and exhale. Let's put our foot down for just a moment. Kind of shake it out. All right, wherever you're at, make sure that, again, your weight is in your left side. This time we're going to go into tree pose, so we're going to go into our actual balancing pose. Again, I'm going to give you some options here, so you do what's best for you and in your body for today. So to start, just butterfly your right leg out and keep your toes on the floor, and you can just have your foot on the inside of your left ankle. You can be here. Level 1. Level 2, your foot can be on the inside of your calf. And if you fall out of any of these poses, just come back into it. Just shake it off. It's fine. Woo! You can see I'm not super balanced on my left side. I'm starting on my harder side first. Level 2. Level 3, you can bring that knee or that foot to the inside of your left thigh. It also helps to take the leg that you're standing on and push against that foot. So your foot is, whoop, you fall out, it's fine. Shake it off, come back into it. So if you're pushing against your foot and your thigh, you're building some resistance, and that will actually help keep you stable as well. Now again, your hands can be at your hips, they can be at heart center. If you'd like, you can grow your tree and extend your branches up and do jazz fingers. So wherever feels comfortable for you today. And this bruise, if anyone can see it on here, that is from the dog. I am not being beaten. It is from having big dogs that like to sit on me. So usually my legs are bruised, my arms are bruised. Any random part of me is bruised. Okay, one more big inhale here. And exhale, let it all go wherever you are at. If you fell out of it several times, don't get upset with yourself. Don't feel bad about yourself. It happens. It's fine, you know. We're all at different levels, and that can vary from day to day, too. It may not be the same thing every single day. You might have one day where, boom, you nail it, and then the next day you're all over the place. Again, it depends on a lot of things. It depends on your mental state. It depends on how your body is feeling that day, if you worked out, different things, how sore you are, how tired you are, what you ate, how well you slept. There's so many factors. So if you struggled with that, don't get upset with yourself. Don't sit there and berate yourself and say that you suck or anything like that. No, 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 no. It's a practice. You just have fun with it. You laugh it off. You saw I fell out of it. It happens. It happens. I've been practicing for over 20 years, and it still happens. I can't even do a handstand or a headstand. I still can't do it. My body, it's not, number one, I don't feel safe doing it at home, and I'm not trying to break my neck, which is also why I do not teach it. And number two, you can do other things like the wide-legged forward fold, or even a forward fold, and get a lot of the same benefits. So I'm like, so you have to really do what's right for you. Don't just follow something because someone else is doing it, and then don't feel bad if you are trying to go into a pose, a more challenging pose, and you fall out of it. Don't get upset with yourself. Just come back to it. You'll get it eventually. All right, let's go to the other side because we have to be even. So I'm going to go to my stronger side now, which is my right side. So I'm shifting my weight into my right. Again, no dumping. Make sure you're still nice and lifted. And then from here, we're just going to lift that knee up, just kind of like it's on a little marionette string, calling in some in sync. Bye, bye, bye. And just breathe. You can even rotate your foot one way and then the other if that doesn't throw you off balance too much. One more big inhale here. Exhale, let it go. Shake it out for a minute. All right, now let's try tree pose on this side. So again, weight in the right side. And then either have your foot at your ankle with the left leg turned out. Pull that down a little bit. On your calf or on the inside of your thigh. What you don't want to do is you do not want that on the inside of your knee. That's not good for your knee joint. Woo. Hands can be like where mine are. They can be heart center. Or you can grow your branches and breathe. Take one more inhale together. And then on the exhale, let it all go. Shake it out. All right. So we did some balancing. We float a little bit. You should feel nice and warm. Let's go ahead and move some of this old energy out. Let's get rid of it. We're going into a new season. Let's leave behind what does not serve us, so that way we have room for the new stuff. New stuff that will serve us, that will benefit us, and this move is also fun. If you practiced with me before, you know what this is. If you haven't, I'll go through it. That's okay. So bring your feet kind of wide. So not like super wide, but like wider than hip distance, just a little outside. So when we say hip distance, it's really like this. Sometimes when we say hip distance, especially women, we think our accessories to our hips, and so it's here. And if you're here, that's good. Stay there. So what we're going to do is something called knocking on heaven's door. This is a move that's not only used in yoga, it's also used in Qigong and Tai Chi and other healing modalities. And what it does is it helps to break up any stuck energy in different meridian points in our body. So that way it moves them through so we can flush them out. It's going to look silly. You might feel foolish. But if you're doing this at home, no one's seeing you. I'm putting this on camera so everyone sees me. So So if I can do this, you can do this. We'll get there. All right, so what you're going to want to do is, I like how this was described, so I know it's a little warm now where I'm at. If you're practicing in this real time, maybe it is for you too. But imagine like you put on a sweatshirt, but you didn't put your arms through the sleeves, and then you're just going to kind of swing back and forth. I don't know if you've seen kids do this, or maybe you've done it. And you're just going to pretend like your arms are the sleeve to your sweatshirt. And then you're just going to turn side to side, coming up on the ball of your foot. So you can keep a bend in your knee if you'd like. Actually, do keep a bend in your knee. You don't want to lock that out. And then from here, you're going to bring one arm in front, one arm behind, so you can smack your own booty and your hip. And then you're just going to go side to side. As you get more comfortable with it, you can move faster, you can move slower, whatever feels good to you. Now, if you'd like, if you've done this for a while and you'd like to try something a little different, you can also take one hand up and hit kind of under your collarbone. You don't want to hit real hard, so don't beat yourself up. So just a nice tap. So you can do that. So whatever feels good in your body. I sometimes like to alternate between the two, just going back and forth and back and forth. And again, this just helps to break up any stale energy. With it being more concentrated in the hips, we do store a lot of emotions in our hips. Anger, repressed emotions, sadness, stress, things like that. So anytime you do a lot of hip openers, sometimes you get a little grumpy afterwards, or at least I do. That's because that's all of that crap leaving. Keep breathing while you're doing this. Smile, laugh at yourself. You can freestyle it. Maybe you want to spin around in a circle. Okay, just a few more breaths here, just going back and forth. When you're ready, bring your hands out away from your body. Start to slow it down. And then when you're ready, just bring that to stillness for a moment. We'll take just a couple breaths here. Really feel that energy move through your body. All right, we're going to do one more pose and then we're going to head to the ground into our final resting posture. Go ahead and bring your feet out really wide. Hands on the hips, chest nice and tall. Nice, strong power pose. So our little superhero pose. So this is really good for confidence. You're getting ready to go on like an interview or date, like a first date or something like that, or just something where maybe you feel a little nervous and anxious. It's a really good posture to prepare for that, to come back into your body and to tap into your power. Your feet are nice and grounded, pushing away from the earth. You're nice and tall and strong. It reminds me of the statue, I think it's in New York on Wall Street, the little girl with the bull. It reminds me of that a lot. Alright, and when you're ready, we're going to walk our feet in. If you're not to the top of your mat, go ahead and return to the top of our mat. Inhale, spread your arms up to the ceiling. Exhale, we're going to forward fold. So shift your hips back, lower the head down. Inhale, come up halfway flat back. Exhale, let it all go. Take just a couple breaths here. Alright, after your next exhale, we're going to walk your hands just a little bit in front of where they are, and then come up onto your toes, bend generously through your knees, and we're going to come into kind of like this little ball. From here, you can take one arm behind you and then the other, kind of walk everything back. And then we're going to transition into our final pose, our relaxation pose, Shavasana or corpse pose. So go ahead and come down to your back. Let your feet go as wide as the mat, toes facing out. Let your hands fall out at a 45-degree angle. Or if you'd like, you can also bring your hands to rest on your body. Grab any props that you might need to get into your most comfortable Shavasana. And when you're ready, close your eyes and just focus on your breath. If you set an intention at the beginning of the practice, maybe think back on that. If not, that's okay too. Just give gratitude for your body, for all the work that it just did. And then from here, just let all of the old stuff just melt into the mat. Release anything that no longer serves you. So that way you can welcome in the new season, the new phases. Now I'm going to go quiet for a moment just to allow you to rest and relax. But I will be back shortly to guide you out of this final resting posture if you would like. The card I pulled for practice today is Rhino Spirit, and the message is overcome any obstacle. So we always have the choice to press ahead, and Rhino Spirit's strength offers you the power to break through stubborn obstacles. This animal spirit knows there is more than one way to open a path to what you seek. When Rhino Spirit appears, you are reminded that you have a marvelous ability to overcome obstacles in multiple ways, by going around them, shattering them with force of clear, deliberate intentions, or even transforming them into clouds that drift away by refusing to allow them to limit you. Apply your Rhino Spirit with creativity, and no obstacle can stand, for you have magic to make and many ways in which to make it. Your power is awesome right now. Rhino Spirit also wants to remind you that when an obstacle appears to prevent you from getting what you desire today, it means that something much better is coming. Keep that in mind when you consider the nature of the obstacle in front of you now. Great Spirit loves you so much and only wants the best for you. If you would like to stay in Shavasana longer, go ahead and feel free to stay as long as you'd like. Otherwise, if you need to get ready to go, go ahead and start to deepen your breath. Start to wiggle your fingers and toes, just bringing life back into them. And then when you're ready, go ahead and place your feet on the mat. And then go ahead and roll to your favorite side, coming into a little fetal position, and just stay there for a moment and take a few breaths. When you're ready, go ahead and push yourself up to a comfortable seat, bringing your head and neck up last. And if your eyes are still closed, go ahead and open them, or you can refocus your gaze to the room around you. Thank you so much for spending your time and your energy and your practice with me. I really appreciate it. I'm releasing this video only on my Patreon account right now, so if you are watching this and there's anyone that you think might benefit from this practice, please feel free to share my channel with them. Also put in a comment if there's anything you'd like to see practiced or any certain poses. I'm more than open to that. But yeah, thank you. I hope you have a wonderful spring. I will see you next week with a brand new video. And have a good rest of your weekend and week. Namaste.